You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. The NBA playoffs, they're definitely upon us. And what an opening weekend it was, man. And then a little NFL talk, a little Formula One talk, and great things continue to happen at FAMU every day. But first, Danny, right into the NBA playoffs, and where the Friday game between the Atlanta Hawks and Miami Heat, you talk about a game in where teams were going at it.
Yep.
And that was just to play in. Whoever won that game were to be the number 8 seed. And the Heat ends up winning 123-114 in overtime, ending the Hawks season, solidifying the Heat as a number 8 seed, and where they did face off against against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And let me just say, this high level of competition was showcased in this game. But that's the playing game. We're going to go into the playoffs. And Danny, the very first game in the playoffs was none other than the Milwaukee Bucks against the Indiana Pacers, and where the Bucks actually took this L, man. 117-98. Of course, Giannis was going to do Giannis. He was going to get his, and he got his. And nobody else decided to show up. The defense decided not to show up. Is this a sign of things to come? The likes of Giannis going 38 minutes, 8 for 15 from the free throw line, and he needs to do an entirely better job there. But he just, I don't know, man. He can't do it by himself, Danny. Kuzma didn't even score a point. He played 22 minutes. Where was Kuzma? Brook Lopez, where was Brook? The only other people that decided to show up, it seemed like it was AJ Green with 15 points. Gary Trent Jr., he showed up, 14 points. Kevin Porter Jr., 12 points. And this is all off the bench. Where were the starters? Dame Lillard has been upgraded to questionable for game 2. I think we need Dame. But I think the Bucks have a bigger problem. I think the Bucks, if they don't do anything in this series, they got to worry about Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Will Giannis ask out? Will Giannis decide to stay? If you're the GM and the owner, do you allow Giannis to stay? Do you force Giannis to stay, even if he asks out? There's a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I put this into the text thread, Danny.
Yep.
I indicated or asked, are we in the rebuild right now? Think about it, Danny. We have several players, young legs here. You have the likes of AJ Green, Andre Jackson, Kevin Porter Jr., Jericho Sims. Those are some young legs. And you have expiring contracts, likes of Brook Lopez, expiring contract. Another fresh player, young legs, Ryan Rollins. I think we're in the middle of a rebuild. I don't let Giannis leave. What say you, Danny?
JL's a tough one to start off Saturday with, from the Bucks perspective. One other item of note in that game was Halliburton didn't even hit a 3. He was 0 for 7. So if he gets going, that's another element of disaster for the Bucks. But it was just lacking on the defensive end. They did make a run, though, and AJ Green was a part of that, where he hit a couple big threes to cut the lead down. But the Pacers just held them off, and ended up winning by 19. Want to see what they do with Dame. Would it be better for him to come back in game 3 versus game two, but they can't wait too long. Just put it like that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But you don't want to also put him at risk. If there's something else they can do to just make sure he's ready once they get back to Milwaukee, because as they always say, a series doesn't start until someone wins on someone else's court. So if Indiana takes the two, so be it. Now you got to defend your home court. Indiana came out like gangbusters, man, and
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of these type of games this weekend we'll get into, but so it wasn't just the Bucks, but not the greatest start for them.
And you bring up a good point. Do you bring Dame in game two versus number three? Now, initially, me shaking my head up and down, yes, I was saying game three.
Mm-hmm.
The more I kind of think about it, though, I think you need to learn something from this group. What kind of gumption, what kind of tenacity do they have? They just
Mm-hmm.
got blown out. I would want to see something from this young squad, these young Bucks. I may hold Dame out until game three,
Mm-hmm.
just to see what and who these young Bucks really are. Because based upon them and how they play, to me, it would be a determination over the summer of how to, maneuver and navigate. Could they possibly be included into a trade package? Do we
Mm-hmm.
renew their contract? Do we let it go? I think this says a lot, man. So there's a risk reward type situation here when you gamble with game two,
Yep.
but I think now the Bucks have put themselves in a position as an organization that they need to go ahead and let Dame come back game three, see what they get from the young Bucks in game two. And now, Danny, man, what a weekend this was. And I think I'll have to say more so on Saturday for me,
Mm-hmm.
for these games, man. The next game to really kind of bring up here is that of the Knicks and the Pistons, where the Knicks prevail 123-112. And this is, with the Knicks going on a 21-0 run. And before that, though, I thought the Pistons would got this game.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they were playing, tough, physical basketball, they just needed to really break up this run by the Knicks in the fourth quarter. But man, I think tonight's game between these two teams, I think the Pistons are going to win because the Knicks were scrambling, man. They were scrambling. And I think this comes from these Pistons being youthful and inexperienced in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they got that experience after game one. What say you, Danny, about Knicks Pistons?
Cade Cunningham didn't have the best game one either. So it's another one of those where does he bounce back? Because the Pistons were up 8 in the fourth quarter before that 21-0 run. And they had total control. There were a couple skirmishes in the game, and the Pistons didn't back down. So that was good to see from their perspective. I think the Knicks pull it out because the Pistons have length, and they can defend the Knicks well on all fronts. So there's something to be said there. So if K can get going, the Pistons can pull this out. But I'm gonna go with the Knicks again tonight and see if they can get that game too.
Danny, right into, man, the Clippers and Nuggets. What a game.
Mm.
What a game, man. Went to overtime, 112-110. Nuggets prevail. Say a whole lot about this game. James Harden, man, you gotta give James Harden some props here. I have not been the greatest James Harden fan over the years, but I
Mhm.
give props where props are due. 32 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists. He did all he could do to win this game. I think this came down to execution.
Yep.
Jokic 29, 9, and 12. Another impressive game. Gotta give kudos to Westbrook
Hmm.
hitting the open three because they left him open. A couple other interesting plays by Westbrook. You have the Denver Nuggets prevailing. Kawhi had an interesting game, 22 points, 9 for 15 from the field, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, only 3 from 3 for free throws. this is a game that a series I want to watch. This is definitely a series I want to watch because I think this is going to go seven. What say you, Danny, about this Clippers Nuggets game?
Clippers had a lead. They're up 15,
Mm-hmm.
and another case of they lost it. Westbrook gave them that spark, though, man. And you know, Westbrook played with the Clippers, so he's up for this series. And he made the big play at the end of in overtime with the turnover of James Harden's hand when they were trying to inbound the ball, where the Clippers could have tied it. So, looking forward to tonight, but this one's going to be close. I agree, Jay. This one's going to go, I think, all the way to the end.
And last but not least, on Saturday, you had your late show going against Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves spanked
Mm-hmm.
that booty 117 and 95, man. LeBron with only 19 points, 8 for 18 from the field. Luca, 37 points, 8 rebounds, only 1 assist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's indicative of what was happening here, Danny. I think they need to spread the ball a little bit more, get everybody engaged, play hot potato with the basketball, get it moving. But Luka tends to hold the ball a little bit there. But you gotta give props to like Anthony Edwards with 22 points, to Jade McDaniels with 25, to Nas Reid with 23. You gotta give props to them, man. This is going to be an interesting series too. I think I picked the Lakers to win this one, Danny. I don't know, man. This one's going to be interesting. What say you about the Lake Show?
Well, the Timberwolves hit 21 three-pointers. Nas Reid was on fire. And the Lakers were winning, and the Timberwolves just bum rushed them, and they couldn't respond. Austin Reeves didn't have a great game, and LeBron didn't look the greatest. He looked a little slow out there. So I think it's one of those where, and they talked about the intensity and the physicality of the game, but you gotta look at all those threes they hit. DiVincenzo hit that deep three, and can the Timberwolves repeat that effort? From the 3 point perspective, I'm not sure, but they are capable of it. But you just don't want to give them confidence, and the Lakers just did that. So if the Lakers go down 0-2, man, I think it's a wrap. So tomorrow is a big game with the Timberwolves and Lakers, and see if the Lakers can get some get back on Timberwolves tomorrow night.
And Danny, just real quickly, on Sunday's games, the Thunder wins, blows them out, blows the Grizzlies out, 131 to 80. The other one, Danny, is the Celtics against the Orlando Magic, and where Celtics dominated 103-86. Won't go into much detail there. Same thing with the Cavaliers and Heat. Heat, like I mentioned, played Friday night. Had two games on the road to make it into the playoffs. Game I really want to watch or speak on is the Warriors and Rockets. 95-85, Warriors prevail at Houston. And let me just say this, Danny. This series is going to be very intriguing. You got the old grizzled veterans who don't have a whole lot of height in their lineup against a very young Rockets team who's just getting the first taste of the playoffs. But you do have some veterans on there, Fred Van Vliet, and then also with the one who always gets in trouble, none other than Dylan Brooks. I think the Rockets just were playing too fast. They need to pace themselves, man.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they were trying to do everything all at once, man, and it was just so discombobulated. And so the Golden State Warriors, prevailed. Houston tried to be physical with Steph. Steph, shot a couple of threes at the very beginning, maybe two or so threes. Found that he wasn't on, took it on the inside, made some cuts, backdoor cuts, goes to the basket, warms up with that, and next thing you know, Steph is being Steph, and where he actually goes ahead and drops 31 on him, just like
Mm-hmm.
that, man. Jimmy Butler adds the 25 points to it. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think this is going to be a full series that goes 6, 7 games. I think initially I said seven.
Mhm.
Stick with seven. And yeah, this is going to be very interesting. What say you, Danny, about this Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets?
I'll say this about the Rockets and Emu Udoka, Coach Udoka. He made a lot of adjustments in this game, and in the fourth quarter, he actually went with a big lineup with Sengun, Jabari Smith, and Steven Adams, which gave the Warriors problems. The problem was Van Vliet was off. So if he would have knocked down some of those shots, I think the Rockets actually, because they were down 23, they would have came back and won. Because they cut it to what, 2, 4, 2, something like that in that fourth quarter. So that big lineup
Yep. Yep.
gave the Warriors issues. So I'm curious to see how this goes this next game and what's the lineups and how he mixes that up. And then Jalen Green didn't have a great game either. So I think it was one of those things with the first game jitters from the Rockets' perspective that once they got this out the way, they could be a problem for the Warriors. Because Steph hit some tough shots at the end to seal the deal, as he usually does. But how many times can they go to that well? Uh, but they do have Jimmy Butler, who's also been there and knows how to handle this type of situation.
So then this is going to be interesting playoffs. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. Every night there's going to be a game. Every night there's going to be a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Situational basketball is going to happen. And I just can't wait till we get to the second round, because I think the second round is where it's really going to be at, and
Mm-hmm.
where you have more competition. You're going to have less blowouts, things of that nature. So we'll see what happens with that. Just as we're talking about the NBA playoffs, the very beginning of the season of the NFL begins this Thursday night, and where the NFL draft is happening in Green Bay. And obviously, there's a whole lot of line happening. There's a whole lot of game faces being put on by GMs.
Mm-hmm.
All that's going to cease, and then come Thursday night. And it's just interesting to hear the various commentators and quote unquote experts, and we'll see what happens, man. Some saying the draft really starts at number 3 with the Giants pick. Giants don't know who they're going to pick. Are they going to pick best available player? Are they going to pick quarterback to lead them
Mm-hmm.
into the future? Um, Jobs are on the line with the coach and GM. I mean, do they go with a Shadur Sanders, or do you go with someone completely else, Hunter? Do you go with a different quarterback? Number 9 is an interesting spot with the New Orleans Saints, with the issues or with the news about Bakar and his injury. Will they go ahead and get a new quarterback? We'll see. But the NFL draft is happening this Thursday night in Green Bay. What say you, Danny?
Excited to see what happens, man. They've been talking about this for what, 6, 8 weeks strong since free agency, and no one knows what's going to happen until it actually happens. From my Falcons perspective, what happens post draft? What happens with Kirk Cousins? Because I think a lot of that too is going to come into
Mhm.
play with the Aaron Rodgers, the Kirk Cousins, and some of these other veterans. Where do they land? Because they want to see what these teams are doing, so they don't end up in a situation like the Penix Cousins issue
Mhm.
last year. So lots going on here, man. I'm just waiting just so I to actually see it.
And now getting into Formula One, and where this past weekend Formula One was in Saudi Arabia for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri gets the victory over Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, who respectively are in 2 and 3. Think you gotta start watching out for Piastri. I think a lot of people were thinking going into the season, Lando Norris would ultimately be the Formula One world champion, but his driving teammate, Oscar Piastri, the Australian, is saying otherwise. So this is going to be a very interesting competition for the teammates. Ferrari finally gets on the winner's stand here,
Mm-hmm.
at third place with Charles Leclerc. I think Lewis Hamilton is still trying to figure out the car. He comes in seventh. George Russell ends up in fifth. Antonelli in sixth for Mercedes. McLaren comes in fourth with Lando. I thought Lewis Hamilton would have figured the car out by now, but I think there's probably still some other complications that we just don't know about. Not only him getting an idea of a feel of the car, but I tell you, when they both got, they meaning Sir Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc both got DQ'd for the weekend and not scoring any points, I think that's going to be Ferrari's downfall. What say you, Danny, about Formula One?
Yeah, Piastri, man, he's dominated again yesterday. Verstappen was giving him a challenge. There was some back and forth there, but he ended up taking it by a little over 2 seconds. Lando was up there for a little bit before he fell to fourth. George Russell was also in the mix. Like you mentioned, he was in fifth. So it wasn't anything like in the last couple races where there was a major takeover per se. So Piastri just dominated and continues his winning streak. So we'll see what happens in the next race. I think they're actually in Miami for the next race. We'll see what happens if Piastri can keep it going.
And Danny, last but not least, great things continue to happen at FAMU everything. And today was the announcement of Charlie Ward as the head men's basketball coach. Yes, that Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy winner for Florida State, who actually has family ties to Florida A&M. Man, just a great hire, in my opinion, as a Rattler, as a FAMU alum. Coach Ward mentioned that this is not a stepping stone into another job. This is the job. Now, keep in mind, he has ties in Tallahassee. Mm-hmm. He coached Florida High. He's actually in the process of building a facility on a ranch that would help with mentorship, that would help with basketball, from what I gather, and just a great opportunity for young adults to grow into more seasoned adults. And so this was just a win all the way around, man. This is going to bring Tallahassee out. This is going to bring those in the Big Bend area out to come watch the basketball team. Mm-hmm. And it's on a modest contract. It's a 5-year contract. It's not breaking the bank. It's not breaking the backs of the athletic department. It's going to bring, hopefully, NIL opportunities, and it's going to help grow the program. And so, man, this is just a win all the way around, man. We're not known for becoming a basketball school. I am truly happy with this coaching move. Mm-hmm. And the our AD is amazing. Can't get no truer of a Rattler than one who's born and bred at FAMU Hospital. So a win all the way around, Danny. Bangs up. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.